the registration window closed, right? And now they officially announced the number of registrants, which was, I should say, number of qualified, people that qualified, which was another record number of people, and it beat the previous record by almost 3,000 people. The last time when that record was broken, which was last year, it was a 5 minute and what was it, like 38-second cushion time that you needed. I think it was 2019. You needed like a 7 minute and 37-second cushion. So I still stand by my prediction based on what we're seeing, based on the number of registrants, another record coming in, and then now based on the new information that they have increased the qualifying standards by 5 minutes for 2026. I think we're looking at a 9 to 10 minute cushion time. What happens when three runners
from different parts of the country
with different running stories
all get together?
Pure
Run Talk
madness.
So listen in as we talk about all things running related.
And some things that maybe aren't running related.
As it's bound to be a good time. This is
Run Talk Live. Welcome to episode 43 of Run Talk Live. It is great to see you both again. How are y'all doing?
We're counting them now, huh? We're counting them.
Are we back to counting? We stopped counting for a little bit, and now we're back to counting.
I think it's kind of cool to be like, welcome to 40-something, welcome to 83. It just, I don't know, kind of cool.
What's the cap, though? Like, we get to 100 and we stop doing it, or do we just do it forever?
You said like 1,000 something, like at the
No,
very beginning.
I know that.
Episode 1.
I know that, but do we count it every time and say, well, to another episode of 437 of Run Talk Live?
I mean, I don't think we have to announce it like that, but I mean, it makes it easy for like labeling purposes.
It does.
For all of our fans out there who are like, y'all catch episode 43? Nah, man, I'm still on episode 41. I haven't caught up yet. No spoilers.
I guess TV shows do that, right? Like if you go to Netflix, it'll be like season 1, episode 13, season 1, episode 14. Yeah, so we could do that. Are we still on season? We're in season 2, though, right?
Is this the Chicago Marathon season? Is that what this is? Season 1?
This would be season 1, the Chicago Marathon.
Okay.
And the climax is when Jake and Carolyn. Okay, you know what I mean. The ending is we gave the ending away. Jake, Carolyn, and Chase met at Chicago.
I'm excited for that, guys. We're gonna have a Run Talk meetup, and we're gonna have prizes. So it should be fun. I'm excited.
Well, I'm excited, and check this. This came in the mail today. I got the Chicago Marathon, the Nike shirts. From Runner's Warehouse. Runner's Warehouse always gets the Nike products like 2 weeks earlier before you can actually buy them from the Chicago Marathon. So I also bought the singlet, which was pretty cool. The only thing I don't like is these are the same singlets that we wear on our race team here at First Place Sports, or that we wore. We don't wear them anymore because now we have Brooks. But they run really small. So something to think about, these types of singlets, these Nike Razorbacks, like this is a medium, which is what I would normally wear. You should probably get a large. Like if you're a man, if you're a medium, get a large. If you're a large, get an extra large.
Yeah, and like I'm a medium, but I'm a little more stocky too. So you also got like usually a medium's fine, but when I wear that same jersey, it's really tight.
Yep. And they're short. Like that's my thing, is I'm long in length. And so these are probably like it could be about 3 inches longer for it to be a normal medium, for other singlets.
When are we gonna get to going to like just numbers for sizes? Like I can't tell you how many times I think I'm just in a weird spot where like if I order a medium for like my race shirt, it is a complete toss-up whether it is going to be too big or too small. Like
Mhm.
I have very few times is it perfect fit, but like sometimes I can size down and get a small and it fits perfectly. But sometimes I'll size down and get a small and I'm like, no, this is definitely a small. So like I just need a number, just like whatever my chest or my shoulders, just tell me something to measure and I'll tell
Kind
you that, and you give me a t-shirt size based on that. I'm tired of this small, medium, large, nothing's standardized. I need
of like
something.
how they do with dress shirts, right? Like you have a
Yes,
15 and a half
exactly. Like
neck, you have
or
a
pants. Like I knew I 32 waist and a 30-inch length leg. Like that's my pant size. So if I need a t-shirt, it's gonna be like whatever a chest size is. I don't know because we don't measure ourselves like that.
32-30. Dang, I'm a 32-36.
That's because you're a giant.
I'm a giant. I'm a giant with chicken legs. Like I have, I don't know. I'm weird shaped. I'm like a
You're
lava
like
lamp.
asparagus stalk.
I don't know what I'm like. I'm just weird, but I do agree with you though, and it all depends on like it's not even
Yeah.
brand specific. It used to be like, okay, if it was Nike, you got to size up. If it was Adidas, you got to size down. Now it's like
Yeah, it's all
Nike,
over the place.
but this style is this different. Like it's so
Yeah,
different now.
it is totally all over the place.
I
Like
don't
that
know.
jersey, like I said, that jersey that you just showed, like I said, it fits long and tight on me as a medium, but then I've got another Nike singlet that fits short and loose. Like I'm a
Yeah.
stubby little chubby kid.
I don't know because everything else about this jersey I love. Like I love the Razorback. I love the material. It's super thin, like
Yeah, yeah,
super
yeah.
super thin.
It's a great jersey.
It's just a weird fit. Like it doesn't. I don't know. I'm gonna send it back actually and replace it with a large. I didn't put two and two together that that's what the jersey was that I was ordering.
Mm.
So and they were expensive. It was like $75 for that thing. So
Now, is that going to be like your race day singlet or?
no, part of my commitment to the team that I run for here is especially the big races like this. I need to wear my team singlet. So I'll be wearing my first place sports singlet. Yes, it is Brooks that I will be wearing.
Mhm, mhm,
My first place sports Brooks singlet.
mhm.
That's what I'll be wearing.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, if actually, so I have my Nike one still, which is the one that I had for Brooks. I lost the medium size one. I actually left it at a race, and now they don't have any more in my size. All they have are larges, and the opposite of this Nike thing, the Brooks one run way too big. Like I needed to size down into a small. Now they don't have smalls or mediums left. All they have are larges, which I swim in when I run. And I'm not going to do that for a marathon because that'll be a shaping disaster, especially on my nipples. So I might be wearing my old Nike singlet for the team, unless they can get one in my size beforehand.
I stopped listening after you said Nike. I'm sorry.
I'm wearing Nike shoes.
Didn't.
Just saying, just saying. Well, guys, we're talking about the marathons, and then not Brooks, sorry, Boston. Got Brooks on my mind now, Carolyn. What are you doing to me? Boston came out with some news, and there's a lot going on with Boston. It's kind of like a big time. The registration window closed, right? And now they officially announced the number of registrants, which was, or I should say, number of qualified, people that qualified, which was another record number of people, and it beat the previous record by almost 3,000 people. Um, and for reference, the last time when that record was broken, which was last year, it was a 5 minute and what was it, like 38-second cushion time that you needed. And then before that, they had two flats, that everyone got in. And then I think it was 2019, you needed like a 7 minute and 37-second cushion. So I still stand by my prediction that based on what we're seeing, based on the number of registrants, another record coming in, and then now based on the new information that they have increased the qualifying standards by 5 minutes for 2026, I think we're looking at a 9 to 10 minute cushion time
You think
this year, which
that high?
I th- I'm not going to be surprised. Here's the thing: if they announce 10 minutes and they're going to make it out to be big news, like, because that's going to be the biggest it's ever been, 9 minutes is going to be the biggest it's ever been. I'm not going to be as surprised as probably a lot of other people are. I think 9 to 10 minutes is where we're headed this year. Next year it'll be different because they've increased the standard by 5 minutes. So now we're going to be back to like, 4 or 5 minute cushion times again.
That's just
But
weird to me. I mean, I've seen, videos of people trying to do math or put in algorithms to try and figure out the exact time. And it's just interesting because you have people thinking, oh, it's going to be 5 minutes. And then you have people thinking, oh, it's going to be 10 minutes. And it's just, I don't know. It's keeping people busy until we actually see the cutoff time.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. I want to be wrong. I really do. Like, if it's not 10 minutes, if it's less, I'm happy because a lot more people get to get in, right? There's people that are, normally 7 minutes or 8 minutes. That's usually a pretty good shoe in. Like, you're in. Don't worry about it. Like
Yep.
this year, there's a lot of people with that like 7 minute, buffer time, and they're like, I don't know, like it's gonna be close, and they all feel it too. You see it on Facebook, all the Boston Marathon pages, and I think there's a lot of people that are a little uneasy, even with their traditionally, decent buffer times that they have.
Yeah. And I was also seeing people speculating like why so many people applied for Boston, how many people qualify, like how so many people qualified. Do you think it's just because of carbon plated shoes? Like,
Oh no,
okay, that was because I was seeing
no.
stuff like that. I was seeing, oh, there's just a lot more consistent runners now. Like, what do you think is causing this huge?
Nothing's causing it. I think we touched on it before. I think it's just there's more runners. That's just what it comes down to. There's just a lot more runners, a lot more training plans available to people. A lot more people are devoting themselves to running. A lot more people are taking it seriously, and it's just the nature of the beast right now. Like running is growing, competitive running is growing. So here we are.
Well, yeah. And the sport is growing, and I know we've talked about it so many times on here, especially referring to Boston. But like, there is something driving it, right? Like it's kind of the same thing that's driving the rest of the world, really, and a lot of it is technology. I mean, you touched on it a little bit there, Jake. There's more runners now than ever. They've got, and a big part of that is because they've got resources that we never had. Think back to, me and you, Jake, whenever we were in elementary school, middle school, or high school, trying to go out for a run. Were you thinking about what kind of music you were going to play while you were out there on the run? No, because we didn't
Nope.
have that. That wasn't an option. You could try to carry a Discman and hope that it didn't skip, but like that was about your best bet. So, we've got so many things, GPS watches, Bluetooth headphones. I mean, the whole nine. And it's allowed people who wouldn't normally get out and run to have the opportunity to get out and enjoy something that they never would have, while also simultaneously enjoying something else that they really enjoy, whether it's music or podcasts, audiobooks, whatever.
Yep.
And then, like I said, GPS watches. They've got the ability to track how far they've run now. Like, again, back when I was in high school, we had to get out. Like, I usually would drive the roads to figure out how far my route was going to be before I had to run it. And that was when I had a car. When I was
Yep.
in, before I had a car, it was, you just go out and run for time. I'd go out and run for 10 minutes. And sometimes I think I was running, 5.5 minute miles when I was like 13 years old out there on the roads. I don't know how fast I was going, but again, technology has allowed the sport to boom. I think that's a big part of all of this, and of course social media too. But and all of that has led to not just running becoming bigger, but the Boston Marathon becoming bigger. And like we talked about before too, Boston needs to stay special.
Yep.
You know, we talk about, like, you know, there's a lottery for New York, there's a lottery for Chicago, but Boston needs to stay special. And right now it's just adjusting to the current running landscape, which is filled with people who are getting into the sport and enjoying the sport and trying to make themselves better, make themselves faster, and that's leading to faster times and more people, you know, being able to qualify for Boston. So then naturally they have to cut the time.
Yeah. Well, and then, so we talk about the technology side of it, which everything you just said is absolutely true. But there's also the running now. Maybe a lot of it has to do with social media, like you said, but running now caters to a bigger audience than what running catered to 10, 15, 20 years ago. And a perfect example would be like Ragnar's, Spartan races, Color Me Rad races, the rock and roll things, like the Disney races. Like there's now all of these things that make running fun for the casual runner, right? Now anybody can be a runner and still compete in these races and join these clubs and join these organizations, and it's just grown so much.
But like, what makes all of that possible? What makes it possible for us to have all these races, to be able to sign up for and be able to fly all over the country? Because
that's why I say it correlates to technology, social media,
to the internet, to just the ability to communicate to the masses. And yeah, like I said, it's allowed our sport. I think our sport has probably boomed more than, I don't want to say more than any, but it seems like it has more than most. And except for maybe like pickleball, which has had a weird boom here recently. I don't know why everybody loves pickleball.
Alter Ego has pickleball hats now. Did you see that?
Alter Ego Running has pickleball hats. Use my promo code CHASER for 10% off of your Alter Ego Running order, or Jake, his promo code, the Cultural Runner.
For all of you pickleball players out there. No, but so actually, Carolyn, this is specific to you because you're someone that's trying to qualify for Boston still. Now you're not in for 2025, so your shot is for 2026. Now, 2026 is going to be slightly harder for you. So what's your take and your thoughts on the new standards and your ability and chances to qualify for it?
Honestly, I'm weirdly at peace. Because I mean, I would need to cut off like okay, so my PR is a 3:49, so I would need to cut off probably almost 30 minutes to have like a solid chance of getting into, Boston. And I was stressing because my husband and I are trying to plan kids. We're trying to, travel, all this stuff. So, I mean, I feel like seeing this cutoff puts less pressure on the rest of our priorities. And it's like, I mean, it's kind of put Boston on more of a back burner. So if I don't qualify at Chicago, okay. If I don't qualify at Houston, okay. Well, we'll just put Boston, the Boston dreams on hold. But I mean, I've seen people put their whole like identity and, losing their minds over this cutoff and stuff. And it's, I don't know. I feel like I'm one of the outliers. And it's like, well, I have a lot of priorities before, I guess this cutoff. But I mean, I know people stressing. Like, I know a ton of people stressing about this cutoff and, picking, but the Boston Marathon to run every single year. And it's like, I have to do it every year. So I see both sides.
Well, and that's actually brings up another debate. And I've seen this debate lately. So there's some people that are complaining on social media, TikTok and Facebook in particular. That's where I've noticed it. about the legacy runners. So the runners that continue to qualify for Boston every year and they do it every year. And the complaint is like, oh, stop going to Boston. Let us other runners do it. Don't take that spot. This goes back to what Chase said. Boston is about it's the market. It's about being able to qualify for it. It's about how difficult it is to do it. It's not about how many times you do it, right? If you get in every year, you succeeded in that difficulty. You passed the test. You got in, and by all accounts, in my opinion, you deserve to do it. And if you deserve to do it 10 times in a row, you do it 10 times in a row because you qualified. You put in the work. That's what Boston's about. It's about putting in the work for the most part, right? If you're trying to qualify, anyways, it's about putting in the work and trying to do it.
Yeah, and people don't understand that Boston is an elitist race. It's always been. It's not, oh, we'll give everybody a chance to run it. Like, no. It's always been about the fast time. And I don't know. I think that Boston deserves to be like that because there's so many other majors, so many other races where everybody can run. And I feel like fast runners should be rewarded with the Boston Marathon for sure. So
Yeah, so I'm trying to find out how many like current legacy runners there are that are running Boston. So like, but at the same time, like I can't imagine that it's that many. So the complaint again, and I'm with you, Jake. Like it needs to be. It's an elitist thing. It needs to stay special, and if you can continue to make it special every single year, and it makes it that much more special for you, then go for it. I mean,
yeah,
and I don't think that was geared strictly towards the elitist, or not the elitist. I'm sorry, but the legacy runners. I think it was just geared towards people that's done it, more than 2 or 3 times, and they're doing it again. Guess what? If I live in Boston and I'm qualifying for Boston every year, I'm running Boston every year. Like the only reason why I don't run Boston every year now, despite qualifying, is because I don't like travel, costs. Like that's why I don't do it. But if you have the ability to do it every year and you're qualifying every year with a time, why not? Like you deserve it. You put in that work. That's your reward. Like you said it, Karen. That's your reward.
yeah. I don't know, and maybe I'm the weirdo, and it's like, well, I think everybody should deserve to be celebrated, like the fast runners, and they have charity options and things like that for those that don't time qualify, and I could sit here and be a hypocrite and be like, oh, people shouldn't run Boston every year, but I run Houston every year, I run Chicago every year, like, the only difference is people time qualify for Boston or, there's less routes. So I don't know, why people, I mean, I get why people are all up in arms about Boston, but I don't see how it's that different than running the same race in your hometown every year or, your favorite marathon every single year.
So I'm just looking at this. I'm in a unique situation where I'll be 44 when I run Boston in this April. So at the end of my age group. Now, the 40 to 44 new qualifying standard starting in 2026 is 305. It was a 310. But now I'll be jumping into the 45 to 49 age category. So in April, I'll be submitting a time for that 45 to 49 age group, which is 3:15, which is actually 5 minutes slower than what I had to qualify for this round. So I love that I'm aging in to a new age category.
I say that's one of the benefits to Boston, right? Getting older
Like,
gets a little
3:15,
easier. I was
okay.
actually telling somebody that after the half marathon that I ran this past weekend. Like, yeah, no, well, you get older, your chances of getting into Boston get a little bit easier.
Yeah. So
Let's see.
do you feel like that puts way less pressure on you at Chicago or your next marathon that you're trying to qualify for Boston, or if you ran a BQ?
It does for me for Boston, because my goal in Boston is to qualify for Boston again. Like that's what I intend on doing.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, I could do that in Chicago too, but like that's my intent with Boston is to run a good time. And now, like my goal always, I think for the foreseeable future, it's always going to be a sub 3, right? At the very least, like probably until I'm in my 50s, like low, I'm into that 50 age group. I think I can stay under 3. Uh, father time is going to catch up to you to a certain point, and it's going to be unavoidable. But 50 to 54, that's a 320. Like, I feel like if I stay the course, as with most runners, if you stay the course with your running, throughout your life, like Chase said, qualifying for Boston, New York, all these races, it does get easier because, yeah, you'll slow down, but not as much as the standards think, the standard average is, I should say. So 315, like I should be qualifying with the 15, 20-minute buffer at that point in time. Hopefully.
Chase, you need a 305, right?
Yeah.
As of 26, yes.
Nice. Okay. Well, y'all are both lucky. I'm jealous.
Well, you would need a 325.
325?
Yep.
Yep.
So, and then, so what's your current PR?
A 349.
All right, so 24 minutes to give, basically say 30 minutes. You're right, to give yourself let's just call it a 6-minute buffer.
Yeah.
So 30 minutes. And what are you training for? Like, what is your goal time that your coach has at, for Chicago right now?
At minimum a 345. Just
345? Okay.
any kind of PR, and then we'll go for, I don't know, maybe a faster time at Houston in January. So, yeah.
Got it. Well, I love the new standards. I'm not surprised. I don't want to say I love them. I'm just not surprised by them. I knew that this information was coming soon, and we should probably in the next 4 to 5 days get the results on the buffer times for Boston. Yeah, because I think they came at on the 23rd last September. So we're probably, there's no guaranteed date. Like they don't say they're going to announce it on this date. That's just happened to be when it came last year. So we'll see. I don't know. I
We'll
want to be wrong though.
Gonna be a lot of mad people out there.
I'm just waiting for all the gifs and the memes and just the angry posts. I don't know if you guys are in those Boston Marathon 2025 Facebook groups, but
Yeah.
there's already angry
I don't think I'm
people
in the
in there.
2025 ones. I think I'm just in some of the standard ones, but
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, there's angry people already. Like I said, at least once a day I get that random post on if someone saying like, "Oh, this is gonna be my 10th Boston," and then you read the comments and be like, "Save some registrations for the rest of us." Like, why are you being so selfish? Blah blah blah. I'm like, whoa, like, let this guy have his moment. It's gonna be his 10th Boston. That's pretty awesome.
that's probably a person that didn't even qualify. Didn't even hit his BQ.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's only, I mean, there's definitely more than one, but still, it's
Or he
ridiculous.
only beat it by like 3 seconds. It's like,
He has no chance of getting in regardless. So.
right.
Well, I guess. I mean, so 3 times in the last 12 years they've had no cutoff time or
Yeah.
no buffer time. 2
Yeah,
years in
one
a
of those was
row
mine. One
recently.
of those was 22, 23, whatever. 22.
Yeah, I actually
Zero,
wrote them down. It was
23.
23, 22, and then 13
Yeah.
was the one before that. 21 was the largest in the last 12 years, which is a 747. And then 19 you had 452, and then 24 is 529. Outside of those three, the rest have all been within 1 to like 2.5 minutes.
What was last year again?
Last year was a 529,
529.
and that was at 32 or 22,000 accepted qualified applications. So, and there was 37,000 qualified applications this year. So that means if they keep it at 22,000 accepted, that they let in, there's 15,000 people that are not going to get in.
That's crazy. You said 22,000?
Well, that's how many they were let in last year. Now it's never been a set amount. Like last year was 22, but 23 in 2023 they let 23,000 in, and 22 they let 23,000 in, and 21. Now this is, I think, due to COVID, they only let 15,000 people in.
Well, when do the charity runners have to be registered by? Like, do they know
That I
that
don't
before
know.
qualifying or after qualification?
Well, they know how many charity entrants they're going to have from the get-go because that charity bought all those entrants already. So now it's just the charities fill the spots and get rid of the
Okay,
tickets.
so they already know how many charity spots they've got.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
That
know
probably
that number.
depends on how many charity spots are purchased every year, then, right?
Yep,
I mean, plus they do increase the amount of overall runners
they
occasionally.
do.
I don't know if it's
Now,
been every year or not.
yeah, Boston's in that funky. We've talked about it before, where they kind of are capped. Like they don't have a lot more room to increase their number of just overall runners. They
Sure.
just don't. They don't have the space. Like Chicago does, New York does to an extent. Boston doesn't. They just don't have the physical ability to do it. So that's why, and again, this goes back to my prediction. To me, all things point at there's going to be a lot of angry people this year, a lot more than we've seen.
Yeah, because you said 22,000. If 22,000 get in, if we assume 22,000, and 17,000 people get turned away, that's
Well, 15,000 people get turned away.
15,000 people get turned away. That's still almost 75%. That's like 65%, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. I mean,
Well,
so
Crazy. Of course, then of course it depends on what everybody's qualifying times are. 90% of the people who qualified might be within 10 minutes of their qualifying time. We don't know all that.
exactly, and a bunch of people may have qualified by 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and they know they're not getting in, right? Like for the most part, they applied to apply, like so.
and I think it's interesting because people got ticked off last year that they were rejected, and now we have more applications this year. Because I mean, I didn't know if so many people getting rejected would deter people, but obviously it hasn't.
No, I think it just makes it that much more of a like elusive jewel that you have to get, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so the actual number of qualified applications was 36,406. So if they were to let 22,000 in again, that's 14,406 people that are potentially getting rejected unless they increase the number of qualified entrants. That's
crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Good luck to everybody who's trying to get into Boston.
Well, here's it, and I'm reading this from a pretty reliable source. It says that the model predicts about 7,050 runners with 20 plus buffers, so 20-minute buffers. 7,050 runners is the estimate to have 20-minute buffers. 9,710 runners with 10 to 20-minute buffers, and 4,960 runners with 7 to 10-minute buffers, which is why the prediction is that the buffer is going to be roughly around or a minimum of 7 minutes. According to this math, it says definitely within a 7 to 7:30 minute range. That's like the guaranteed it's going to fall. Like it's not going to fall below that. So again, this is all hearsay. We won't know until we know, right? Like we'll just have to wait and see. But man, Well, that was 33 minutes of just Boston qualifying time talk.
Yeah.
I hope the listeners like numbers and conspiracy theories and and just
The Boston
complete
Marathon,
guesswork,
right?
because that's what this was. um, did you guys watch Jakob's race, the half marathon?
No, but I saw
No,
his
I didn't
Instagram
watch the half.
post.
He wasn't ready for a half marathon.
Nope.
Nobody was ready for a half, truly.
Yeah,
Nope, he was not. But he went out pretty good on the track season though, so he had a pretty good finish there.
That's what surprised a lot of people is the dude went from 5K to 21.1K in like 2 weeks.
I mean, let's be real. He could still run a half marathon fast, if he wanted to. But was he ready to run that half marathon with those front runners? No,
No.
no,
And
he wasn't.
I read somewhere he kind of did the run walk method where he would run and then he would take a break and run and take a break. And I was like, man, that's the story
He
of my
still
life.
ran what, 63?
Oh,
Is that
it was
right?
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, he still ran 63. So
That is unreal.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what his. Yeah, he ran 60.
That's pretty
He still
impressive.
plays 34th overall and 34. Think about this. He ran a 103.13. 103.13, and
Yeah.
came in 34th. like that's.
No.
He ran through the 10K mark at 27:27.
Oh my gosh.
What's your 10K time again, Carolyn?
48 minutes. The dude was almost done with the half at that point.
Yeah, but so I did watch. Well, I watched the race after the race, right? I watched it, the recording of it, and he never looked good. Like he never looked comfortable. You see him on the track, and he looks like he's not even putting in effort a lot of times, and he's still just pointing at the crowd, cheering him on as he crosses the finish line, right? This one, he looked like Nico Young, like just in sheer pain
Well,
the
he
whole way.
never looked good and still ran an hour and 3 minutes. That's like 450 pace.
I'm just saying, compared to the other runner.
I'm just saying, like, this guy, I actually saw pictures of him lying on the ground at one point during this race.
Yeah.
And like Carolyn said, he was walking at intermediate times throughout this race. So yes, he didn't finish towards the top of this half marathon, but given all that, he still ran 63 minutes.
He basically did fartleks and ran 63 minutes.
For his first half marathon ever.
Yeah.
So this means, if you follow the, you know what, I want to do a VO2 dot thing. Hold on. You guys talk. I want to figure something out here real quick.
Stopped and laid on his back and walked a little bit and ran 450 pace for 13 miles. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, let's do this. He ran one.
I don't think the race stopped his watch for him whenever he was laying on the ground.
Somebody stopped his Garmin.
Yeah, it's a 4:49 pace, which is the equivalent, which means that his estimated marathon time would be a 2:12:19. Like that's what what shape VO2 or the VO2 dot calculator thinks he would be in running a 63-minute half. So
yeah, what a joke.
Yes.
That's just a 5:03 pace.
Can you believe how bad he looked this weekend?
I wonder if he's gonna try and run a marathon, because didn't he say he wanted to kind of master all the distances?
I don't think that's what he said after that race.
Oh, he probably hung up the Nike Vaporflies and walked off.
I read a quote somewhere where he was like, "All you distance runners, you guys are crazy."
He says that. I think he's enough of a competitor though, where he's mad at his performance, and I think he will try and redeem himself. Maybe not anytime like immediately, right? But I think the day's going to come where he's going to do another half, and he's going to do a full, and take them seriously. But yeah, he might be a little squeamish from the half marathon, for a little bit. It's like, I'm going to stick to my track work for a little while, guys.
Yeah. I think he'll make the leap here eventually, but yeah, he's definitely gonna stick to the track for a little while longer.
Yeah, 2:12 though.
Had a lot of good 1500 races there at the tail end of the season. Cole Hawker took the gold medal, but he never got another win the rest of the circuit. But Nagoose did.
Nagoose, yeah, I was gonna say Nagoose outkicked.
Jakob in
Yeah,
where was it? Nah, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But it was one of the big races, and then Jakob won in Brussels this past weekend.
I'm telling you, the 1500 is basically a four-man race, just depending. Like that's what it's going to be for the next 4 or 5 years. It's going to be a four-man race. Unless someone else emerges that, which
they did announce. They announced next year's date for the Prefontaine Classic. I saw that.
Did they?
Yeah, it's in like July.
Did they already announce the field though? They wouldn't have announced that early. Yeah. I don't know. Carolyn, do you have any connections you think you can get us?
Oh my gosh. I actually met one of the Brooks heptathlon Olympians last weekend.
Did you get a phone number?
No. I got a picture. So that's the only connection that I have.
I just realized, guys, I have our Run Talk Live stickers, and I never sent those to you guys. I got to get those to you guys.
I just had a half marathon this weekend. I could have been passing them out.
That's my fault. It's my fault. Dang it. Did you find that Prefontaine info?
Yeah, it's July 5th. July 5th.
Oh, the day after 4th of July, huh?
Yep.
Well, I guess they're not going to the family barbecue that day unless they're just eating pasta.
On the West Coast, yeah.
The ultimate carb load. That sounds wonderful. The barbecue.
I was thinking, this is a completely random question. So I'm thinking about going in and getting tested for a gluten allergy because I have a feeling that I might be developing one. But here's my question: we're distance runners. Carb loading is a thing, right? You got to do it in some fashion. My main source of carb loading has always been a pasta. Like now there's like the idea of potentially having to do gluten-free pasta or only do rice or legumes or stuff like that. Like what do the gluten-free people carb load with and how do they handle that? I don't know.
I don't either.
Well, a lot of the rice or rice flour is how you do it.
I mean, I know there's gluten-free products and I know it's out there. Like obviously you can do it, but
yeah,
I've never been in a place where I might actually have to do it, so I'm kind of nervous about it. But I think that might be a root issue that I might be going through. So again, hypothetical WebMD, my own. I Googled myself, and that's my medical
that's
opinion.
Pretty good. Usually when you do that, you find out that you're actually dying.
Yeah,
so
right. Something needs to be amputated.
Gluten allergy sounds like a pretty good deal.
I'm the worst too. I absolutely will Google every condition. I'm like, oh no, this is serious.
Oh yeah, even as a runner, you feel the same way. You're like, man, like my ankle is kind of sore and swollen in this little area right here. Let me Google it. I'm gonna have to amputate my foot. Okay.
You got a tumor on your ankle.
Yep.
That's so
It's
cute.
cancer.
It's cute.
Might be. Who knows? You never know where that can prop up from.
Oh man.
But
Well,
good luck with
Yakimi.
your hopefully not a gluten allergy, because I don't know. I wouldn't know what to carb load with.
Well, it sucks because a lot of my pasta is one of my favorite foods, but I've noticed lately, probably over the last like 6 months, like not to get, I'll just get detailed. I don't care. You guys can, everyone listening can know, like I've just been getting gassy and bloated, like every time I eat carbs, no matter what. And then I've had this whole lightheaded thing lately where I was getting fatigued easily and I'm not sleeping. And so today is the first day where I said, all right, well, let's just cut out carbs or cut out gluten, I should say, and let's do it for a few days. And if I feel better, then that should solidify that I potentially have a gluten allergy, and then I'll go get tested. Um, so today was day one. I had chicken for lunch. I had some fruit in the morning. I technically haven't even eaten dinner yet, even though it's 9 o'clock at night. Um, and for carbs, I'm doing some carb drinks and some gluten-free gels, and we're just seeing how I feel.
Say, I'm looking through my First Form stuff. I'm pretty sure all their stuff's gluten free.
Which one's that?
First Form
First
for like
Form?
protein and stuff.
I'll tell you what's not gluten-free. These Milky Way candies that I've been eating out of my daughter's Halloween candy.
Oh, Milky Ways are so good.
Milky Ways are the best. We would take her trick-or-treating, and when they let the daughter or the kids pick out the candy, I'd be like, pick out the Milky Way, kid. Like, you don't know. Just, you're not going to eat it anyways. Just pick it. Get the Milky Way. Love me some Milky Way.
I'm a Snickers fan. Like, I like a Milky Way, but I like the peanuts in there too.
They were talking food. Carolyn, where are we meeting in Chicago? Are we meeting pre-dinner? Are we meeting post-dinner?
Ooh, okay. It'll have to be pre-dinner.
Okay, good. Or I said pre-dinner. Pre-race or post-race is what I meant to say.
Pre-race. I'm not the same person post-race.
Well, Jake, isn't it your wife's birthday or something?
Post-race I was going to say, is a little harder because race day is my wife's birthday, October 13th. And I jokingly tell her I'm flying you to Chicago for your birthday, and we got us a hotel. But that's not going to hold over, for too long. So I'm going to have to actually do something with her on her birthday, which I intend to do.
Yeah. We could
We'll have fun
meet.
without you.
Yeah. Like I get into Chicago Saturday morning. I don't know
I think
when
you
y'all
guys
get
both
in.
get in around the same time, right?
I think we do get in around the same time.
So anybody wanting to try to fan bomb Jake or Carolyn, they'll be arriving in Chicago around 9:30 a.m.
Yep.
Friday before the Chicago Marathon.
I'll have my wife and daughter. Will your husband be with you?
Yes.
Okay. We're most likely renting a car, so feel free to just hop in our car with us if you want.
Okay, but actually, because we're not gonna have a car.
Yeah,
I'll be up there. I'm actually going to be up there Thursday night. So,
so Chase
so
is just going to
we
provide
can
us
talk
with
about
car
it later, but I could possibly pick somebody up if they need to.
Only if you hold a sign with our names on it at the bottom of
I got to have the little driver's hat too. Like,
That'd be so funny.
That's what I want. Make it, you know what? At least make a couple of us feel, famous. Well, we'll connect, Carolyn and or Chase, and we might be able to figure out a car ride at least there. Going back, you guys most likely be on your own because Ubers are, especially then, because they will raise the prices. they're not cheap. Like a standard Uber ride from O'Hare to downtown Chicago is about $65.
I mean,
That's standard, so it's probably going to be more during this.
Well, I'll
yeah.
have my car. I just won't know what kind of car that is yet because I got to go get a new car. So
Yeah, can I say it? Can I tell? I'll let you say it. Yeah, tell the world what happened, Chase.
oh, I hit a deer. So I gotta get a new car.
That's
Hit a
like
deer, got told.
that's
Yeah.
literally like the Texan equivalent of hitting an armadillo and like jacking up your car.
An armadillo?
Is hitting an armadillo really that big of a problem in Texas?
Yeah, they ball up and destroy the crap out of your bumper and all the things.
I mean, it makes sense, but like I'm just like I don't know. I'm trying to fathom like me hitting a deer in Midwestern Indiana is the equivalent to hitting an armadillo in Texas.
So we hit armadillos.
Sounds so
Not we.
stereotypical.
People hit armadillos all the time here because you'll see the squished like outer shell of the armadillo all over the road all the time. I can't imagine though, Carolyn, they do damage like because they're not big. Like they're big. They're like a raccoon size. Like they're not gigantic.
Okay.
I don't know. I've never hit one. I've only seen I've only seen them after they got hit.
Jake.
No, it can. If you hit an armadillo, it could damage your vehicle. The armadillo's hard shell can cause dents or cracks in the car's body, and its sharp claws, I think, can cause major damage to your tires.
That's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Don't look out for the armadillos in Texas. Holy cow.
They're jerks. Like, there was one in the middle of the road when I was on the way to a run, and they're always out in the middle of the night, so you can never see them until you hit them. Freaking jerks, man.
Well, my wife also got in a itty bitty little accident this morning. Nothing major. The car was still like I drove her car home afterwards. I'm not going to drive it for a little bit, but I didn't hit a deer, and I've never hit a deer, Chase, but I know they do a ton of damage. Like,
yeah,
even at slower speed. Yeah. Well, how was the deer?
It actually wasn't like the damage didn't look too bad overall, but like there was one part of the engine that apparently cost like a couple $1,000s. So the insurance company was just like, just go ahead and total it. So
get you a new car.
It was kind of a sad moment for me, honestly, because that was the first ever car. I was 2 payments away from it being paid off, and it was the very first car that I ever like drove brand new off the lot. So I was kind of like, it was sad. I teared up a little bit as I was cleaning it out. Not gonna lie.
That's how my truck is for me right now. I'm not 2 payments away. I'm like 7 years away of payments, but it was my first brand new vehicle I've ever bought. I've always bought used.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife leases. And she still leases. The car that she wrecked is a lease. So
yeah.
So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I'll go car shopping here this weekend. And we'll see what I got.
Well,
my rental car's a Charger right now, so I'm having fun with that while I got it.
Well, it's got to be a runner-friendly car. You need to have trunk space for your runner bag.
So it was a small. My last car was a small SUV. It was a Hyundai Kona. That didn't really have as much like trunk space as I thought it was going to. Like I like a hatchback. I've always liked a hatchback, but that one was deceptively small. I really liked the car, but it was kind of deceptively small. I'm really kind of enjoying this Charger that they got me on though. Like it's a nice smooth ride. I've never had a sedan. I take that back. My very first car was a sedan, but I haven't had one since. So it's kind of a change for me, but I'm kind of enjoying it. So I don't know what I'm gonna get. Any kind of car recommendation, shoot them my way.
Well, I was gonna say, so I have a Kia Seltos, which is basically the same as a Hyundai Kona. So that would be my recommendation. But
I'll have to check it out. I'm definitely gonna check out some Hyundai and Kias, both of them. So Something about those Koreans, they make some good cars, I guess.
They do. My gosh. And I have the push to start. So, and those are hard to break into because you don't have like a physical key. And if that key fob is nowhere near the car, it won't turn on. So it makes it harder to steal.
Do I got not to change the subject? I gotta ask. Did you guys see because they did the medal reveal for the Chicago Marathon? Did you guys see those?
Yeah, I
I
believe I
did.
shared it. I'm not
I
sure.
like it.
I
Right?
Yeah, that's
They
pretty
did a
nice.
great job.
Yeah, I like it, but not that I didn't like the one that I got, which is from 2021 or
Mhm.
2022. Um, but I like this one better. Like, this one's neat. I like it.
So cool.
Well, it's different too, because the one that I got, I used to do the Chicago Triathlon every year, not the triathlon. Again, I always did the relay, but we still got the medal. And I feel like the one that I got was very similar to the Lifetime Tri medals that I got each year for the triathlon. So it was like, just another Chicago triathlon slash marathon medal. This one's
Mhm.
different. Like this one's definitely different than what I've seen in the past, and I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm always
Weird.
curious, what are the top competitor, like the elites? I've never seen what their medals actually look like,
That
or
was
their
my
trophies, or whatever they get. I don't know.
Yeah, I was literally about to ask the same question. Like, do they even get a medal? Do they keep the medals? Like, what's that situation like?
That's something worth looking into.
I'm sure they
I'll
get
let you
something.
know. Yeah, I mean, I should place in the top three this year, so
Yeah, let us
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Hmm.
I'll let you guys know. I'll show it. Maybe I'll show it. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to
Yeah.
brag
Like a
about it.
wreath crown, isn't it? If you win,
I know you get a flag around you, like
a giant check.
Yeah, just fan yourself with a check. But
You
fingers
should be able to
crossed we'll
say
get really nice.
if you get a big fat check, then you need to put a hole in it and then put a chain around your neck so you're just constantly carrying around a giant.
Flavor Flav style.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping we get good weather.
So far, it's been hot in Chicago.
Yeah. Next
Do
week
you
it's
guys think they'll do some kind of tribute to Kelvin Kipton?
I think so. Like when you're waiting, before you cross the start line, you know how they always have those monitors where you can watch the elites, they'll show announcements. I think they'll put something on the screens.
Yeah, I think there'll be some TV spots for sure. I don't know if I'll be able to see anything that they do for Kelvin, like unless they do something on the monitors at the start, or do some sort of announcement or something playing over the speaker. But um, I think it'll be mostly like TV spot stuff that will be a tribute to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
Real quick, guys, do we have any additional races between now and Chicago? And actually, I gotta ask before we do that. Okay, can I backtrack? I gotta ask something. Chase posted about this very humbly. So he came in second place in his half marathon and did really good. Chase, if you're up for it, tell us about your half marathon, how it went, and where your head's at now with it.
Sure, why not? Yeah, so this past weekend was my hometown half, Vincent's historical half marathon. Timed out really good so that it could be a tune-up race for Chicago. Typically, I do like to run a half marathon about a month out from any goal marathon to try and gauge where I'm at, test out my race day shoes, if that's something that I need to do, which this time it was. But yeah, so the last couple years, the Vincent's half has been in the spring, and this is only the third year they've had it. I was able to win the first 2 years, so I was like the two-time defending champion coming into this year. like you said, Jake, I got second this year, so I was unable to secure the three-peat. So that kind of sucked. But hey, what are you going to do? You can't win them all. Plus, I'm getting older, and everybody else is just getting younger. So I don't know how that's working out. That's a fact. It's science. Trust me when I tell you that. So, all in all, leading up into the race, and this whole training block, really, I've kind of felt good, but like not great. Like I feel good, but not confident. Not confident that I'm going to be able to, like really get out there and put forth, the effort that I really want to in Chicago. And I was kind of feeling the same way about this weekend. Like obviously, winning it the last couple of years was a good feeling, but I knew that there was probably going to be people there this year to push me along, and I wasn't sure how fast I could run a half marathon. I went into the race kind of eyeing 120, and hoping to get down around 118. And I was going to do that by running negative splits. I was going to start out closer to where I want my half marathon pace to be come Chicago, which is about 6:15 mile pace. And then I was going to increase that pace 10 seconds per mile every 5K. And that would ultimately get me to around a 118. But however, the guy that ended up winning the race, he kind of took off. So once he was there, then I started thinking about, having to win the race too, wanting to win the race anyway. It was about more than me just kind of racing for time at that point. So I was trying to stay close enough to him and keep him within like striking distance, without getting too far outside of my original plan. So I ended up going around 6:05 to open up the first mile. And I think I was just right around 6 minutes per mile for the first 7 or 8, I think. And just kind of maintained there, and wanted to kind of pick it up for the last, 5K, 10K. Just really didn't have it in me though. A couple things I did. One thing that I did for the first time was I carried a water bottle with me. So I carried a handheld water bottle with me. First time I've ever raced like that. I really don't like doing that, but I've been playing around with different fuel sources. So for this race, I did one 12-ounce water bottle full of 1 part first form ignition, which is like their carb replenishment formula, if you want to look that up, and then 2 parts Ultraformance, which is their endurance workout kind of enduring workout replenishment. It's like their Gatorade type mixture. So that's what I carried with me in the water bottle, and then I also had 2 ketone IQs, one before the race and one at the 10K marker. So that was what I fueled with. And I don't think the fuel itself, I don't think that was bad. I think that mixture of the ketones and the carbs worked out pretty well for me all in all, but carrying that water bottle, I just wasn't a big fan of. I don't like doing that. So I think I'm going to go back to just gels for Chicago. So I'll try to get on the feed and get me some SIS gels, and hopefully I can get some of those in by Chicago. But carrying a water bottle, I just really wasn't a fan of. But all in all, I ran an hour and 20 minutes and change. The course was 0.2 miles over, so it was 13.3. So it was a decent day, and I ran a decent time. I was just kind of bummed that I couldn't win, and that's pretty much that.
Well, I'm glad you said what you said about the water bottle, because that's something these last couple of weeks I've been training with. I've been doing a soft flask basically, because I'm still debating if I'm going to do that for at least probably the first half of Chicago, or maybe even the first 15K, and then go to gels afterwards. So I'm thinking G1M for the first 9 miles, and then with a gel before, and then I'll probably just gel for the last half of the race. That's my current plan, and that kind of what I'm training for. But we'll see. I'm not
Yeah.
also not a fan of carrying the flask, but the soft flask that I can kind of just dispose of afterwards is what I'm going for.
Does it fit? Is it gonna carry in your? Are you gonna wear the Woolico shorts?
Yeah, the Walker. Yeah, I'm gonna be wearing those.
Mm-hmm. And does it fit in there, or are you gonna actually carry it?
Well, when I race, I'm gonna carry it. So I'm trying to read up on the rules because they have some rules on what you're allowed to actually bring in through security to Chicago.
Mm.
Um, so I don't know. I've been seeing some chatter like if it's in your hand, you can't do it, but if it fits in a pocket or in a pouch, or because you're not allowed to wear vests, you're not allowed to wear water vest or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't know. I have to do that. But to answer your question, it does fit in my pocket, like the big cell phone pocket of those shorts, which is where I would put it if I need to per security. And then on the other side would be my gels, and then on the back would be gels. So I'd probably carry, if I'm just doing the half, I would carry 3 to maybe 4 gels max, most likely 3. So we'll see. If I just gel, it's 6 gels is what I bring with me. Plus, I take 1 gel before. We should
Yeah.
get on the feed
I
soon.
definitely I wasn't really counting my carbs that I was intaking, but like I said, that mixture that I used, I think that was good as far as the fuel. And I've really been playing around with some different ideas on how to carry that with me. So, I did some some lotion bottles that I got off Amazon. Where are those at? Like this. I would fill this up with
Yep.
liquid and carry that with me, or one of these things. I mean, these work out okay, but they don't really fit in my pockets all that well. So,
Yeah.
I tried the water bottle and it just didn't work.
Well, the Betafuel, I mean, Betafuel is what I'll be using just because it's got the 40 grams of carbs, the more carbs than the standard SIS.
Sure.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Did you just swap away a mosquito?
Nope. I was kind of like clapping my hands, like, all right, cool.
Oh.
I don't know what I was doing. We lost Carolyn, so I ran out of stuff to say.
No, I'm here. Sorry.
Well, guys, I think we're at the hour mark. We've talked
Yeah,
Chicago.
we're good.
We've talked Chase's recap. We've talked Boston. We've talked Jakob, sorta, and
Oh wait, one thing, real quick, back to my recap. The shoes I wore, the Asics Metaspeed Skies. The shoes were fine too. I don't think that had anything to do. I think those are going to work out pretty well for Chicago. I broke down and got those because the Alpha Fly 3s are not coming
they're
out with
not
any
pretty.
more availability anytime soon. Huh?
And they're not pretty.
And they're
Chase
not
doesn't
pretty. That too.
Chase doesn't like the colors.
The colors that they had were just bad. Bad. All right.
I love
That's
them.
all I have.
But anyways, all right, Carolyn, where can people find us?
You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram at Run Talk Live. You can email us at runtalklive@gmail.com. You can see us in Chicago, October 11th through the 13th. Let's see. You can find me on Instagram at Carolyn M. Levinway and TikTok at Carolyn McDuff. Chase, where can people find you?
Just about any of the social media platforms. Chaser No Pacer is the name you want to be looking for. Check out my link tree on the TikTok or the Instagram for just easy access to all that stuff. Jake.
And you can follow me at The Cultural Runner at any social media platform. Also, find me in Chicago, the guy with the glasses. You'll recognize me. And then I'll make sure to announce Carolyn's hotel room number, and that way you guys can go up there and personally greet her. She loves that stuff. She's a late night person. You can find her, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, night before the race. It's the best time to reach her. Don't do that, guys. But yeah, you can find me. And look forward to seeing you guys in Chicago. We'll have one more episode before Chicago, right, guys?
Yep.
Yep.
So we'll probably do the next one towards some Chicago
One
talk
more
and
episode
tips
for
and
you guys
tricks
to
and all
travel
that.
to Chicago to listen to.
Yep. Cool.
All right.
Well, we'll see you guys soon. Peace. Cool. And I don't know, again,